Folks, and welcome to this brief introduction to GMT's Vietnam 1965 to 1975, game designed by Nick Karp. Now, this is, of course, I think we can call it the successor to the old VG Vietnam title. It's been upgraded. It comes, of course, with modern, outstanding GMT production quality, revised map, counter, everything's been kind of redone. And of course, down here in the corner, we have your playbook, which I have open. And I have a the first small operational scenario set up. This is Operation Starlight. So I'll talk about this in just a moment. But the first thing you'll notice is how massive this is. This map is big and sprawling. There are 3 maps that come in Vietnam. We've got the south map down here. I'll run you through them. So the south map down here, kind of focused around Saigon. The map is also divided into 4, I think they're called core divisional areas. So it's sort of the 4th region down here, and they are coded. This is really just for quick reference, so you can find these regions and ascertain that this is region number 4. Saigon is a special sort of region by itself. Then we have region 3 through here, with different terrain features moving to the center. And the map boundary, you can see, is along here. So this is the central map. And region 2. And then as you move to the north, you've got the north map starting kind of along here. And this is region 1, way up in the north. Then you've got Laos and Cambodia. As I said, each region is divided into these separate districts. And you have the hex overgrid laying over the top. Now I'm working my way through an understanding of how this all works. This is a huge monster game. The full campaign scenarios are massive, and I'm advised by people that they can run for dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of hours. I'll see how far into it I get, but I'm starting off with the operational scenarios and I'll kind of work my way up. Look, fundamentals. I'll also point out the various charts. So here we have combat results table, various die roll modifiers and losses, terrain effects chart. Different costs for those terrain effects. Population control reference sheet. This is mainly for the sort of campaign game. Blockade, strategic bombing, and morale chart. What else have you got here? This is the summary of the operations. So we have got. Let me get back to this in just a moment. Okay, we've got the sequence of play. Okay, and we also have got the seasonal interface sequence of play. But this is what we'll mainly use for these operational scenarios. Various holding boxes to hold the various forces. I've got the rules, and I've printed off the various administration sheets. So we've got the population control sheet, the US record sheet, and the SVN record sheet, and the NLF record sheet. Okay, so the game comes with sort of mounted versions of these, but really you need to print them off so you can actually draw on them and keep track of everything. So it's quite an administrative load associated with this game, but I like that it's sort of most of this will happen for the campaign, and it's pretty well presented. It tells you when in the sequence of play you update these features, so you can work through it quite methodically. So the way the operations work, and I'll also point out, and I've misplaced, here it is, just over here. Okay, so during I'm just going through the game turn, during the operations phase, which is kind of the core of the game turn, really, the NLF player decides whether they or the allied player will take a turn. If they decide that the allies will take a turn, then the allied player has to either take a turn or pass, and if they take a turn, then they conduct operations. And there's a fairly wide range of operations that they can take. So I've printed off a PDF of the living rules. This is version 3 from 20th of July 2023. Not too many changes, to be frank. I don't think I've really noticed that many. I think they're very subtle clarifications here and there. The rules as written in the box seem to be acceptable and usable. But yeah, basically the allied player will then conduct operations. If they pass, it comes back over to the NLF player, and they can then decide whether they want to conduct operations or end the operations phase then and there. Now, I don't know how this will work in practice, but my feeling of this system is that it puts pressure on the Americans to basically, or the allied players, which is really the Americans at their core, to either do stuff or the operations phase ends. So yeah, I think they'll be under this pressure to kind of get things done. They have sort of more public information, and then the NLF gets to respond to that. Okay, so let's look at this scenario that I've set up. This is an interactive scenario suitable for solitaire play. It simulates the first major US operation of the war. No ARV ranges are available. I have 4 US replacements points, 4 air points, 1 air mobile point, 1 cruiser. I have set up my ground units. I have got here the third. So what we're looking at here? We're looking at the third battalion of the 3rd Regiment of the 3rd Marine. No, yeah, 3rd Battalion of the 3rd Regiment of the 3rd Marine Division, I think. And the 2nd, 4th of the 3rd Marine, and then there should be a 155mm artillery battalion. All right, so they've set up here in Chile. Down in the south, we have got the 3rd, 7th, 1st Marine, with the 7th Regiment, 1st Marine Headquarters. Okay. Now the NLF in black here, they've got 4 VC replacement points. Now they set up randomly in either of these 5219 or 5320. Okay, if you're playing solo, you do this randomly. Just roll the dice to see where they go. And they have got the 70th Regiment and 1 political section. Okay, there are a series of special rules which I kind of haven't gone through yet. I find it helpful when learning a game to set it up. I should also point out victory. I haven't really looked at this, so ignore the standard victory conditions. The allied player wins if the VC regiment is dispersed, broken down, eliminated, or leaves the play area, but no US units are eliminated. The NLF wins if the allies do not. So the NLF just has to eliminate 1 US unit to win the game. The allied player, has to destroy this NLF regiment. And they're twice as strong, but outnumbered. Okay, this is play note. Advice to the NLF. Don't let the US take the first operation. It happened historically. Try it and see. Okay, so there's so the NLF will be going first. As I said, the NLF gets to decide who goes first. They can say we are going first, and I'll certainly be taking that advice on board. What else? Okay, so there's the rulebook has a big summary of all the operations: search and destroy operations, clear and secure, hold and patrol, naval transport, strategic movement, and bombardment. Some of these can only be used. So some of these are used in the operations phase. Others are only used in the strategy phase, I think it's called, a certain phase of the game. Okay, so you choose your operation, you conduct that, move around. Units have got their movement allowance on the right there. For the start here, we only have units that are ground movement capable, I think. No, wait, we should have, oh yeah. Okay, so we'll be moving around, probably not too far in this opening scenario. And then when it gets to combat, you're looking at combat ratios, various hex side effects, various modifiers to the die roll, resolve combat, implement casualties, allocate losses, retreat, and continue until I think one or the other is removed. Of course, there's support firepower because we've got this 155mm artillery battalion down here. Yeah, so I'll be rolling with this pretty soon. Keen to see how this plays out. This is my sort of dipping my toes in in the first step of Vietnam, 1965 to 1975. This is a very deep game, and this sort of little scenario here is just scratching the very surface. All right, folks, thanks for watching, and take care.